This week, we're back in Edinburgh, where we go in search of the story behind this mysterious tower in the corner of an old cemetery, go and say hello to John Knox in his cathedral, and then we hit the charity shops where we find this absolute gem. There are few places in the world as historic as the centre of Edinburgh, and we're going to look at a famous old Edinburgh graveyard. And everybody who just said Greyfriars, you're wrong. This is the Scottish Parliament building, and where we are going is over there behind those houses. Now, all I've got to do is find out how you get in. There's a gate over there, so let's try that. We have been to some amazing cemeteries in England in the last few weeks. This is where Scotland pulls one back. If you watched a video from Scooney Cemetery in Leven, I thought the world champion undefeated drafts player was there. Apparently there's also one here. Right, are you ready for this? This is going to be amazing. Let's start at the very beginning, which is over here, and this is a draped urn, which is Victorian symbolism of the fine line between life and death, I think, more or less, something like that. This is sacred to the memory of Thomas Thompson, who died 27th of December 1867, aged 49 years, for 21 years sorter in the General Post Office in Edinburgh, which is now a big posh hotel. And behind him there is Robert Thompson, who was a letter carrier. This is the post office corner for the Thompsons. I love it when gravestones pose questions that you really want to know the answer to. This is in memory of Margaret Lye, who died in 1852. But down here, there's Thomas Lye, the father of the above being John, who was accidentally drowned in the Firth of Forth on the night of the 7th of March, 1863, aged 74. Now, what was he doing in the Firth of Forth at night at 74 years old? There's lots of little private chapel-y bits off to the side here. That is the Duncan McSomething. Let's go and see. Duncan McFarlane, who was an advocate. That is like a lawyer, but in Scotland. And there is Alice, somebody relict of Alexander of Leith, who died 18th of March. Oh, I can't see that. Hang on. Sorry guys, coming to visit. The 18th of March. It's got ivy on it. We don't go pulling that off. 1846, sorry there. So 18 something. Confession time. I'm from Edinburgh. I love graveyards, and I have never been to this part of the cemetery. The cemetery was actually split in two when a new access road was built into the city centre. So this part of it I've not been to. So let's go and see what else we can see. Oh, something I just learnt from that sign down there. That is Edinburgh's last unaltered gaslight. So there you are, a fascinating wee bit of history, if you like gaslights, which I admit is a niche market. It's another textbook kind of graveyard. If you wanted a emotive and impressive and almost spiritual place, this is definitely the place to come. And I've just spotted something. Did you see that before I did? Because I was too busy talking. That is a Commonwealth war grave, and let's see, that is 5 sailors of the 1939-45 war from the motor vessel Atholl Templar from 1941. So they are 5 sailors and their names are not known, and the reason that you know that is, you see this a lot in Belgium and France as well. Down the bottom there's the wee expression, known unto God. We don't know who they were, but they are known unto their God. So I probably shouldn't laugh, but this is in memory of the children of Isaac Bailey and Marion Spottiswoode, his wife following, Isabella Eldar, and then lots of stuff that's gone. Then, because he couldn't keep it in his trousers, also the other children of Isaac Bailey and Marion Spottiswoode. Unfortunately, they are all gone, but I love that. The children and the other children. I like these ones. Wasn't quite so keen on these ones. I've just spent longer than I want to admit trying to figure out the relationship between John and William Crowell. I think they must be brothers, because William there on the right died in 1860 and John died in 1838, so I'm guessing they are brothers, because there's John, and then there's John his son, and Archibald his second son, and Peter, etc, etc. But that's William and Helen and another William. William John, just to make it confusing. That's William John, William and John. I do hope you're keeping up. There will be a test later. This place is very much the great and the good of Edinburgh. There is Andrew Patterson, Esquire. Don't forget the Esquire. Solicitor Supreme Courts, who died in 1837. And his son, who died at Paris. I was going to say died in Paris, but it's Paris, Upper Canada. That's quite interesting, and was buried there. And his other son, who died at Newcastle. Oh, somebody there has taken a bit of a faceplant. These are a cool thing about these bigger, older and posher cemeteries, these little private burial vaults. That is the burying ground of John Drysdale, who was a builder from Edinburgh. And next door to John Drysdale is John Ferguson. And let's go and see what we can see in here. Again, once upon a time, very secure. Nobody was getting in. So, memory of David Ferguson from 1909, who was a farmer, and William Tate Ferguson and John Ferguson, whose occupation was not recorded. And on the back wall is John Ferguson, and now what does that say? Farmer from Overedge, or farmer anyway, so he was a farmer. So that is the grave of John Knox, and it is sacred to the memory of William Knox, the eldest son of Thomas Knox. Again, different surnames, more enlightened times. But what I'm going to show you, just as this little bit of this little cemetery, is that building up in front of us. We're going to take a walk up there just now, and then I'll tell you what it's for, if you haven't guessed already. And if you're wondering where the Wetherspoons is, there they are, there. Sorry, terrible joke. And over there, that's Arthur's Seat that you saw in a previous episode when we ran up that big hill. We actually ran up that big hill again this morning, but we're sparing you watching us doing it. And this building, with Becks in front of it, that is the old watchtower. And why did they have a watchtower in a cemetery? Well, as I mentioned earlier, grave robbers. That is why they had a watchtower in a cemetery. These days, Edinburgh is probably quite well known for two guys called Burke and Hare. They were grave robbers. They would come and they would steal corpses from the ground and would sell them to a surgeon called Dr. Knox. Eventually, they couldn't get enough fresh bodies because people were putting up buildings like this. And in this, there would be guards. And the guards would guard the graveyard until the bodies had sufficiently rotted to be of no use to the surgeons. You also get things called mort safes. Well, here's a picture of a mort safe that we took down in London. So the coffin was put in that until the body had gone a bit squidgy. So yeah, that is Edinburgh's graveyard watchtower.
That's a whole family from 1831 right down to 1927 when they ran out of space.
Right, so it's 100 years and they've run out of wall. They'd have to dig a hole to get it any deeper.
Yeah.
Okay, so that has been a little look around New Calton Cemetery. If you want to see a lot more of this, and unfortunately I do mean a lot more, if you check out our Places for the Past channel, there will be a full episode on this going up, and I think it's going to be quite a long one.
I've not seen any gravestones here that have got the cherubs or the skull and crossbones or the hourglass on them.
Yeah, maybe that's a bit primitive iconography for the good people of Edinburgh. We're a bit more sophisticated than that.
We're awfully posh, so we are.
It's certainly old enough. We're back to the very, very early 1800s, so you expect there to be something, but yeah, you're right, nothing at all.
But we've lived here all our life and we've never been here.
Yeah. That's true. I've been to the one on the other side of the road. I've never been in this one. Literally the very last gravestone we looked at on the way out, there's Beck's on the way out, hello, has got memento mori, some crossbones, the hourglass to tell you that time is running out, and the spades, the tools of this guy's trade, guessing he was probably a farmer. So yeah, that is disproving our theory about the primitive iconography of the skull and crossbones and things. Yeah, cool. Onwards and downwards. Well, this is a road that we don't normally travel. It's not really a place it's on the way to anywhere. It's the middle of Edinburgh from sort of Leith. But there is a memorial to Robert Burns, the Scottish poet, 1759-1796. That's quite impressive. Driven past that a lot, had no idea what it actually was. That is what you call a pillared rondata temple, and it's by a guy called Thomas Hamilton, and I knew that just by looking at it. I looked at it, I thought that looks like Thomas Hamilton. What do you reckon, Bex? About 1830?
1830, yeah.
1830-ish, yeah. Alright, if you're wondering how we know that, it is written on that sign. That building over there is the old Royal High School from when this was the poshest part of Edinburgh, and it was actually going to be used as the Scottish Parliament. They spent a lot of money fitting it out for it to be the Scottish Parliament, but then they decided what they wanted was that monstrosity at the bottom of the Royal Mile. Yeah, if you watched our Edinburgh video, the last one, you'll know I'm not very keen on the Scottish Parliament building. That's where it should have been. That is quite a cool building. One that fits a national parliament. Bex is hoping that I haven't noticed down there. I've just seen the back of the high street. If you watched our last Edinburgh video, we said, oh, there might be a graveyard in there. That is the back of it. There's definitely a graveyard, and it's got not a bad view looking up to Arthur's Seat, and that's called Salisbury Crag, all that rocky stuff up there. That big cliff is Salisbury Crag. Right, we're going to go up here past what used to be the Scotland office, where Scotland's government was run, obviously English government, but the Scottish department. Everybody wave at the tourists in their bus. It's not a very warm day to be on the top of an open deck bus. That is looking down into the old town. It is quite impressive and interesting. This is all new. This whole thing in front of us was not there the last time I walked up this road. That is, it's all new and doesn't even remotely fit in with anything round about it, but that seems to be the style these days. And there's our lovely new shopping centre. I'm going to do a zoom now because I can, because I'm using my phone. And with a thing on top that is called the Walnut Whip. But if you've got a greyhound, you recognise that, and it sure as heck isn't a walnut whip. We'll be going up there at some point in the future. That is the Calton Hill, which has got lots of big memorials and monuments on it. That is, I think, the Nelson Monument. And up on top of that, if you can see up on top of that, there's a big stone ball. Edinburgh, 1 o'clock every day, a gun goes off and everybody checks their watch because they don't know what time it is. But because ships out in the Forth couldn't hear the gun, that ball gets lifted up and then drops at 1 o'clock, so they get a time check as well. Another quite impressive building that would quite befit the Scottish Parliament, but nope, they didn't use that one either. They built the new one. That big building is called St Andrew's House. It's on the site of the old Edinburgh prison, which would have been unpleasant. Apparently it was the worst prison in Scotland. Cold, silent and repellent. Discipline was harsh, the diet atrocious, and people that were hanged there for their crimes were then buried just outside the old prison and are still there under the car park. It took me a wee while there to get my head round hanged for their crimes. My brain was going slower than my mouth. Yeah, so that was the new Calton burial ground up there. This is the old one. No, Bex is down that way. We're not going up there. Look, it's got a big obelisk. We are almost down at Princess Street, which is the main shopping street in Edinburgh, and over there, that is Registrar House, which used to be the Registrar of Scotland, used to be based in there. I don't think they are anymore. And then there's Princess Street with some rather grand buildings, and just round this corner, I'm going to keep waffling because back there we saw a letter carrier and the postmaster for Edinburgh, and the GPO for Edinburgh used to be round this corner, and hopefully we'll get there soon because I am running out of things to say. There it is, yay! So that was Edinburgh's post office when buildings were built just to be beautiful. It's a bit overly grand for a post office. Nowadays, a general post office would just be a big tin shed. Once again, Bexy's indecisiveness means she's standing over there and I'm standing over here. She doesn't want to get run over by one of them, the famous Edinburgh maroon buses. We're actually, believe it or not, going into the Apple shop because Bex fancies a new watch. I'll bet she doesn't buy one. That's another quite famous building on Princess Street. That is the Balmoral Hotel. Again, very, very grand. We went to the Apple shop and did she buy anything? No.
I'm thinking about it.
I told you she wouldn't. I told you, didn't I say it? She wouldn't buy anything.
I think the problem is that they're not compatible with my phone, so I'd need a new phone and a new watch.
It became a very expensive trip to the Apple shop, but they always are. So this is Princess Street. That is Princess Street over there with all the grand old buildings, and on the other side, this is Princess Street Gardens, which was once a loch. This was the Norloch, and it was Edinburgh City's sort of sewer, come garbage disposal, come mortuary. They drained it all, cleaned it all out, and made a nice garden. And what we're here to have a look at now is that thing. That is the Scott Monument, a monument to the famous novelist Sir Walter Scott. And you can go up it and climb up to the very top. But guess what? We're not going to. You've seen it. There you are. That's it. We're now going to go to the finest takeaway food emporium in the whole of Scotland. Finest and also one of the oldest. This is a place that I used to go to. I was trying to work it out. I think it's 40 years ago and it's still there. As long as they still do pineapple, cheese and onion. Every time we do the middle of Edinburgh, we talk about the bridges and how this is all built up and it's not ground level, etc. The buildings of the Royal Mile, that is the back of them there, and we're now going to go up a big hill and see the front of them, because the front of them is quite a lot higher up. And the big hill we're going to go up, this is called Coburn Street, and it used to be where all the cool kids went to buy their clothes, and you got all your black gear and your black stuff and black shoes and black, lots and lots of black. So we're going to go up Coburn Street and up to the Royal Mile and get some dinner. So this is Coburn Street, and Coburn Street is interesting, well, for a number of reasons, mostly because it didn't used to be here. It used to be all buildings all the way down the high street, and they said, right, what we need to do is open it out a bit and get a bit of air. How are we going to do that? So they cut a street right down through the houses. So you do see bits here that are the backs of buildings that are all newer than the sides, because we cut a great big hole in all the old buildings, which is quite interesting. I used to come here every single payday, and that shop over there that's called Coffee on the Moor used to be called Ground Control. I used to go in there and buy clothes most weeks. I used to have an awful lot of clothes, mostly in black, funnily enough. It's gone a wee bit upmarket since then. You see before you two people bereft.
I am bereft.
The baked potato shop that has been there since the dawn of time has gone.
It's gone.
This is... I can't... Can we just have a moment, please? That shop has been there forever. And you get a large baked potato with cheese, onion and pineapple. I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore.
And you get an amazing one with tomato and avocado salad. I'll never get one again.
Yeah,
ever.
That doesn't sound quite so nice, to be fair. Well, on that devastating note, we are now up on the high street, as you can tell from the sound of a cat getting strangled over behind me somewhere. God, it's noisy. The bells of the church are going bong and the piper's going pipey. Down there is the Holyrood Park where we've just been, and up there is the castle, where we are just heading in that direction, I think, unless Bex has got a better idea. Change of plan, we're not going to the castle because Bex wants to go and find a baked potato. Oh, he's playing something that sounds a bit like Flower of Scotland. The Scottish tradition of putting a traffic cone on top of a statue is alive and well in Edinburgh with that statue of Adam Smith. Oh look, that icon that we saw on one of our gravestones, we didn't know what it was. It's one of them. It's a plough. It's very busy today. We don't usually like very busy, but there's lots of entertainment going on, which is, I suppose, quite nice if you like that sort of thing. In front of us is the Signet Library, which is very exclusive. You're not allowed in unless you pay a lot of money for a afternoon tea. You can have tea and scones in there. Bex has been in there for tea and scones. I have not because I'm far too common. This is the Signet Library. Afternoon tea, only £65 a person, and you can have an amusing mooch and some savouries and some scones. So yeah, £65 per person. Guess where we're not going?
It's a very nice experience for a special occasion.
For £65 a person, I would expect it.
Maybe you'll take me there one day.
I could give you the £65 towards your new watch that you're buying from the Apple shop. Oh wow, up there. I've never noticed that before, but I don't notice things till I come out with you guys. That was the Protestant Institute of Scotland. And over there's a really nice little turrety thing lit up by the sun. Right, we're going up here to try and find some dinner. After the gutting realisation the baked potato shop is closed, our quest for food has taken us to a place called Bobby's, named after Greyfriars Bobby, no doubt, and Greyfriars Churchyard is over there, but we're not going there today. That is something for another day. Charity shop, fine, £5 for a bus.
£15.
My brother's got a collection of buses. If he still got it, it'll be worth a fortune. They do have some nice bits, but I'm imagining not cheap. Bex is in the charity shop and it's very, very emporium-y. She's quite liking it, and she's found the books, moustaches, and tat. Please take me home. No. That building over there, which is also quite grand, is part of the university, and that's their medical school, and that's where Bex in her younger days got to play with dead bodies. Sounds exciting. Quite why occupational therapists have to play with dead bodies, I have no idea. This area is student central. That is the University Union over there, where I had many a happy night in my younger days, much younger days. And yeah, it's full of students, but apart from that, it's alright. So after that unplanned charity shop, it's time to go to some planned charity shops. That building over there is the Edinburgh Medical School Museum. It's called Surgeons Hall Museum, and it's full of things that are quite frankly gross but very interesting, like lots of bits of bodies and stuff. You're not allowed to film in there, so there's no point trying to show you any of it, but just imagine, just imagine. Next up, PDSA, People Dispensary for Sick Animals. This place used to have the finest tat collection in the world. Let's see if I've still got it. You need what?
Christmas tree holder.
Oh yeah, you can never have too many Christmas tree holders. Yeah, it's not quite what it used to be in terms of stock diversity. There we go! Run! Don't run! Yay! British Heart Foundation. Oh, this has changed as well. It used to have a nice display there of precious things. Some nice bits. Let's go to the books first and have a wee look over here. Oh. No.
How much is it?
£5.
What the heck's that?
I'm not sure what that is, but I am having that. That is a drunk dog. A party animal. Boom boom.
That's like a whistle with a dog in it.
And that's a whistle with a dog in it. We're not having that. This is a great wee street for charity shops, because there's British Heart Foundation, Tornadoes, Save the Children, Oxfam, and off in the distance, Cancer Research. So now we're going to go in here and see what else we can buy apart from a drunk dog. Oh, that's slothfully. Sorry.
Slothfully.
Oh, there's a little panda with a hat on. This being student land, there's always quite an impressive selection of vinyl records here, albeit somewhat overpriced. Somebody here has clearly dumped their entire collection of bluegrass, so you can have some Jimmy Neutron, some Best of Bluegrass, and of course our favourite, the Johnson Mountain Boys requests. Alphabetical order is overrated for books. You should always do them by colour. Genius. And I love this. How's this for something you wouldn't get away with today? Whipped cream and other delights, featuring a young lady covered in whipped cream. What do you think? Could that be the best album cover ever?
Well, depends what you like, I suppose.
Well, yeah. A lady covered in whipped cream, what's not to like? This place looks quite posh. There's an old water bottle, £8.95. That's not bad. They vary from like £2 in charity shops up to about £30, depending on the mood of the charity shop. Ordinarily, we'd have something to say about Lily May Ledford, the banjo-picking girl, but nope, she's been knocked into a cocked hat by whipped cream girl. Lots more country and western stuff here, and of course, this was quite nice. Look at that, that's Kimmy Roads. That's got to be from the 1980s. That is the heart of Midlothian. It used to be a tradition that you spat on it on the way past, but apparently people have stopped doing that. And because we've got a John Knox theme going on, this is John Knox's house. And it says, love God above all and thy neighbour as thyself. This part of Edinburgh is not short of very nice statues. There's a big statue of a bloke. I don't know who it is, I'm going to find out. It is Walter Brooks Montague Douglas Scott. I know that because I've read it on that sign. And that over there is St Giles Cathedral. Might take you in there. This place is one big war memorial. There's the Royal Scots from 1914-18. And there's the 6th Battalion Royal Scots. That's quite nice, isn't it? And a bit of stained glass. This is an amazing place. St Giles is over 900 years old, and yeah, it is not showing its age. It is very well kept. It's a very popular tourist attraction, and you leave a wee donation when you come in. Now they suggest the wee donation is £6, which is very cheap. Excellent value for money for all of the history that you get.
Don't say it.
Oh, but it is a very impressive organ. She's walking away again. This is the little private chapel of James Graham, the Marquis of Montrose, and it is put here in 1661. So yeah, we think we're doing well getting back into the 1800s. This is from the 1600s. It's very, very grand, as you can probably see. And if you look up, it's also grand up there. I don't really know what to say about that. It always kind of takes your breath away, the vaulting and the decoration and stuff. It's really, really cool. Lots and lots of stained glass, lots of light, lots of space. It is a truly amazing place. Some more war memorials. This is the memory of Elsie Ingalls, who was a nurse from Edinburgh who went off in the First World War and saw active service with the Serbian army. She's famous in Serbia. She's still venerated in Serbia for what she did for the Serbian army when they needed medical attention. They didn't really know what they were doing, and she took the latest in Western medical thinking to the front lines. This one's quite cool. This is a memorial, as you can see at the bottom there, to the glory of God and in memory of the Scottish ministers, probationers and students of divinity who laid down their lives in the Great War. But remember, don't even blink. A Doctor Who reference that a lot of you probably didn't get if you've never seen Doctor Who. And there's the highest ranking person you're going to find on a war memorial, probably. That is Brigadier General Francis Aylmer Maxwell, VC, CSI, DSO, who was killed in action at Ypres in 1917. A gallant soldier and a very perfect gentleman, beloved by all his men. Yeah, no idea if that's true or not. And that tribute is from the officers, NCOs and men of his division. You have to stand and wait while people are taking photographs before you can go in and take your photographs. But this is really nice, isn't it? The glory of God and the memory of Sir William A. Smith, founder of the Boys Brigade, 1833. And that's some of his stained glass, and that's the rest of his stained glass, and that is quite a nice carving. Yeah, this is a great place. Go on then, you show me a church with a better view than that of all the carving and the reliefs and then the stained glass above it. Don't bother because you can't. So we'll come here and say hello to the eagle and the wee pulpity thing, and then we'll look up again. How about that? There you are. It's all just so grand. And over there, with some people posing in front of it, so I can't actually film it because they are children. I'll wait till the children go away and then we'll go and look at John Knox. This cheerful looking chappie is John Knox, who trained as a Catholic priest, but then with the sweeping sort of Protestant Reformation that was happening, particularly in Scotland, he got swept along with it. He got himself into a lot of trouble. He was prisoner in France for a lot of years, but then he came back, and basically he is the man behind Protestantism, it's not easy to say, in Scotland. He's also the man behind the fact that all the Catholic icons and relics in this place were taken away and destroyed. The statue of St Giles, after whom this place is named, was taken and thrown into the open sewer that is the Norloch, which is now Princes Street Gardens. This is another little side chapel, and it's another leading light of the Protestant Reformation. This is Archibald Campbell, Marquess of Argyll, who was beheaded near the cathedral in 1661 and is now buried inside it. And obviously he's got his own stained glass window which goes all the way up there. Yeah, war memorials over there. That one there is the Royal Scots Fusiliers. That one there is the Royal Garrison Artillery. That one there is the 74th Highlanders. This one here is the Royal Highlanders, the Black Watch. The tartan you'll recognise from our little ident screen. Highland Light Infantry. And then the 2nd Battalion of the Royal Scots Fusiliers. So that is all the main war memorials all down that one wall. And if you think that's not enough war memorials, then over here we've got the Service Battalion, more Royal Scots. And that one there is the members of the congregation who fell during the Second World War, 1939 to 45. And this could be my favourite memorial in the whole place, and it is, I'll read it to you because it's quite long. To the memory of the 2 officers, 21 sergeants, 27 corporals, 9 drummers, 439 privates, 47 women and 124 children of the 78th Highland Regiment, who 600 odd people who died on the banks of the River Indus in Scinde between the 60th of September 1844 and the 4th day of March 1845. I have no idea what the story behind that is, and I don't know where Scinde is. And there's another one to men who died in the suppression of the mutiny in India, 1857 to 1858. Some really nice old things in here, and obviously there's Bex.